Heavy rainfall has unleashed a rapidly developing flood emergency in southwestern China, as authorities in Liping County, Guizhou Province issued the highest level rainstorm warning following an extraordinary downpour that caused rivers to rise at an alarming rate. As of June 21st, meteorological and hydrological agencies are closely monitoring conditions across the region after nearly 200 millimeters of rain fell within just 6 hours, creating a dangerous situation in this mountainous part of the country. According to local weather officials, the Liping County Meteorological Station upgraded its rainstorm alert to a red warning at 5:21 in the morning on June 21st. This is the highest level in China's weather warning system and is only issued when severe and potentially life-threatening conditions are expected. Forecasters warned that several townships, including Shuikou, Long'er, Diping and Leidong, could receive more than 150 millimeters of rainfall within a 3-hour period. The warning came after monitoring stations had already recorded extremely intense rainfall across parts of the county. The impact on local waterways was immediate and dramatic. Hydrological monitoring revealed that some rivers in the area rose by more than 5 meters in only 2 hours. Such a rapid increase in water levels is considered highly dangerous and significantly raises the risk of flash flooding, river overflow, and destructive landslides. Liping County's geography makes it particularly vulnerable during extreme weather events. Located in a mountainous region characterized by steep slopes, narrow valleys, and karst terrain, rainwater can accumulate quickly and rush downstream with tremendous force. When heavy rainfall strikes this type of landscape, rivers can swell within minutes, while unstable hillsides become susceptible to landslides and debris flows. These secondary disasters often pose as much danger as the flooding itself. Authorities have warned residents that multiple hazards are now possible across the county.
10块9分不对，赶紧撤！我闻到了汽油的味道。
这个没有个120斤的，不要乱闯了，特别是有下水道坑的地方，千万不要乱走。
Among the most significant concerns are flash floods affecting small and medium-sized rivers, urban flooding in populated areas, and landslides in mountainous communities. Debris flows, which occur when water mixes with soil, rocks, and vegetation, are also considered a serious threat in areas with steep terrain. As conditions worsen throughout the day, emergency officials across the wider Qiandongnan Miao and Dong Autonomous Prefecture elevated their response measures. At 11 a.m. on June 21st, regional authorities raised the flood control emergency response to level 3, signalling growing concern over the potential impacts of the ongoing storm system. Neighbouring Kongjiang County also took urgent action as water levels continued to rise. At approximately 11:30 a.m, local officials activated an Urban Flood Defence Level 4 emergency response and issued evacuation orders for residents living in designated flood-prone zones. Authorities instructed people in the number 1 and number 2 flood risk areas to move to safer locations as a precaution against possible flooding. These emergency measures highlight the seriousness of the situation developing across southeastern Guizhou. While large-scale damage reports from Liping County remain limited at this stage, officials caution that the heaviest rainfall has only recently occurred or is still ongoing in some locations. As a result, the full extent of the impact may not yet be known. Emergency management teams are continuing to monitor river levels, rainfall totals, and weather forecasts around the clock. Residents living near rivers, streams, and low-lying areas have been urged to remain vigilant and closely follow instructions from local authorities. Officials emphasize that conditions can change rapidly during flash flood events, leaving little time for evacuation once water levels begin rising. People in mountainous regions are also being advised to watch for signs of landslides, including unusual ground movement, cracks appearing in slopes, falling rocks, or sudden changes in water flow. The combination of saturated ground conditions and continued rainfall increases the likelihood of slope failures in vulnerable areas. As of this evening, the Red Rainstorm Warning remains active, indicating that dangerous weather conditions are still expected. Meteorologists warn that additional rounds of heavy rain may continue affecting eastern and southern parts of Guizhou Province over the coming hours and days. This means rivers could continue rising, and areas already impacted by flooding may face renewed threats. One of the major concerns moving forward is the possibility of cumulative impacts. When repeated rainfall strikes the same region over a short period, the ground becomes unable to absorb additional water. This causes runoff to increase dramatically, placing greater pressure on rivers, drainage systems, and flood control infrastructure. As a result, even moderate additional rainfall can trigger new flooding once the landscape becomes saturated. Authorities are therefore maintaining a high level of readiness and have activated disaster prevention protocols throughout affected areas. Emergency personnel remain prepared to conduct evacuations, rescue operations, and flood response activities if conditions deteriorate further. At this time, no fatalities or injuries have been officially reported in Liping County. However, officials stress that the situation remains highly dynamic and that risks remain elevated while the heavy rain continues. For residents across the affected region, the next several hours will be critical. Weather experts urge people to avoid unnecessary travel, stay away from swollen rivers and floodwaters, and remain informed through official forecasts and emergency announcements. Flash floods can develop with little warning, especially in mountainous terrain, making early action and preparedness essential for protecting lives. As emergency crews continue monitoring conditions, communities throughout Liping County and neighbouring areas remain on alert for any further escalation of this dangerous weather event. We will continue to follow developments and provide updates as more information becomes available. For now, authorities are urging residents to prioritise safety, heed evacuation orders immediately if issued, and remain prepared for rapidly changing conditions as this major rainstorm continues across Guizhou Province. Thank you for watching. If you found this report informative, please consider subscribing for ongoing coverage of significant weather events and natural disasters around the world. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next update.